Good evening, friends. I hope everybody's doing good. I hope everyone had a good week. We're going to first talk about the Qs and some of these counter trend trades that I've been posting and some of the percentages, and then using my auto trender with it. So we are using a RSI setting of 25. Same thing on the auto trender. Reach out if you don't know how to do that. I'll walk you through it, not a problem. But what we want to go into, let's start with just the first one. I'm going to go with a 5-minute chart. And this one was the one that we were looking at. So we had killer structure through here, right? We've got just awesome structure. We've got price action coming up all day long. I'm going to zoom in a little bit on price action here. So auto trender has put in this line for us and then has put in this line as well. And I'm also going to talk to you about the importance of putting your own lines in. So we got this massive little sell-off, and this has been happening a lot. So you guys pay attention to these. If you get this big sell-off in one direction, or you get this big boost up in one direction in the mornings, first thing out of the gate, we see this happen quite often, that's actually the wrong move. So you see right here, we had this come down, and then we had a big blast off up, and then I anticipated this gap getting filled, which it did not. And then we get structure coming back down right here on the break. We had confirmation on the 5-minute right there, and it was pretty much to the downside all the way down. Now here you get this comes down, and then you get this other move coming back up. So once we start getting our structure built, which we had in pre-market right here, and we got this structure building out, we know that we've got something pretty solid because we're under the 20, under the 30, and we pop up and over the 70, and then this thing starts to wane, right? We've got another one of the auto trenders picked up right here, major level. They're saying, all right, be looking for the breakdown. And at this point in time, decay, this is at 3 p.m., a little after 3, the decay on the 0 DTEs was massive. So even though we were sitting only at 626 right here, a little over 626 bucks, the 625 puts on this, because we'd been going up all the day, all day long, the 625 puts were sitting at 10 cents. And then we get this breakout, we get the retest right here. We've got auto trender putting in another trend line right here. So we're looking for not only this, and I'll zoom in a little bit, we're looking for not only this baseline to hold here, but we are also looking for this line to hold, which the auto trender had snapped in for us. So that's what we were looking for there. Just $1 out of the money at 625, and this is what you can get out of these counter trend trades. Right here you'll see they were sitting at 10 cents. They actually went down a little bit lower. I think they were at 6 cents, but we wanted that confirmation. We got the confirmation, so you can see that that was 15.22, so 322, well after it confirmed. So right in this neighborhood, we were absolutely confirmed at that point in time. Jump into that at 10 cents, and then it mocks all the way up. Sorry, I had the wrong thing on there, guys, sorry. But you can see the 15.22, and then that was sitting right around this neighborhood. So we were fully confirmed that this was headed down. Really safe trade right here. You take $1 out of the money, so you go at the 6. It's what I do. I'll go at 6.25 on this, and then you've got to stop. If this thing starts moving back up, if it breaks through up here, you're out. You get out and just lick your wound, take your loss. But 2,300% later, this trade closed on the day, and it actually closed right here. Because the Qs go until 4:15, so I think it was actually right here. But yeah, it was a good 2,300%. It was money. It was a lot of freaking money. So the next day we've got a full day of just writing down, which this was showing us here. We can also take a look at the 15-minute on this. Ride down. Make sure I got off on my 5-minute right here is where we're at. So we can see on the 15-minute that we've got a breakdown right here, right? This was the day before. It comes and it breaks down. This was our big trade. It kind of sits sideways all day long. The auto trender throws in this pivot right here. I don't like how it doesn't extend these out sometimes, so I will throw my own lines on top of that, but you've got your pivot. It comes up, it hits that pivot, and then sinks all day long. And then what do? We see it starting to base out right here. So we know that there's a trade, counter trend, sitting in there as well. But what I want to watch is, because we had so much selling pressure, back over the 5-minute now, so much selling pressure, what does this look like? Does it really take off and get going? Or does it look more like this structure, which is just kind of corrective? And yes, it does, is the answer. So you can see here, my auto trender did not pick that up. It actually picked it up here, and if you had waited for confirmation on this, you still would have won, but you wouldn't have won as much. But what we do is we're looking for a bottom pivot to the next pivot, and then we're looking for that confirmation. You can see that the auto trender did put in a line up here. It gets up and over and then rejects, and then rejects again and rejects again. And after that third rejection, it was like, all right, let's see if this thing's gonna break down. You can take $1 out of the money right here, and that one went for, let's see where that one was. All right, sorry about this, guys. But that one was 511% in 55 minutes. So nothing to sneeze about. It didn't move much, right? It went from 615 down to 611, so not a lot, but $4 at the end of the day when you're sitting at sorry, I did it again to you guys. So we're sitting at 615 in that neighborhood up here. You take a 613 and it comes down $2 under, and all of a sudden you're sitting, you were from 30 cents, 42 cents, I think is what it was, to, it actually went to $3, but I didn't stay at it that long. So that's what we're looking for here. Now, what did we have on Friday that I posted up here? And again, I don't know that the auto trender had really put this trend line in. I think it did. I just wanted a little bit. Oh, I know why I put that in there, because I needed my alarm. So I wanted my alarm on this, and so I threw my own trend line in, set my alarm on it, so I knew as soon as that thing went off, it was breaking a pretty major structure through here. Comes back, it retests, it holds. Just money trade, money play right there. And then if we go back and look, I just exited out of that. But that one was like 700 and something percent. So I think it was almost 800%. But once we saw this trend that was coming down, and we saw this coming up, this is much different structure right here than this one. So even though we were looking, get rid of this, I was looking at this trend line right here, looking for a possible counter trend to reverse into. I just didn't like it. I even said, you can check the Discord, I'm like, guys, we're moving up a little quicker. This is a pretty big V-shaped recovery, and if you look on the 2-hour for certain, you can see that. You can look at it on the 15, and you can say this is something that's different, right? We got a little bit of hang up on where we had this consolidation through here, and then after it buzzed up through there, it was gone. Also at 6 something a.m., Bitcoin started moving up pretty significantly. So even though we sold off until noon, It was almost like the bots were and the algos were turned off right at noon, and retail came in and did what retail does. And retail can do that when they're almost 50% of the market now, because all the Wall Street took their profits on this short and they went to the Hamptons, and retail was able to come in and just crush that. So what we're looking at right now is, and we'll get into that on the next video, but I'm just wanting to do these little trades. But this is what we're looking for. And if you're doing the futures, that's fine too. This is what we're looking for specifically over and over again. We want to see these things break down. We want to see counter trends are huge when you've got decay in play, because you can get, just like over here, you got 10 cents when it was $1 out of the money, and that thing went up to $2.30, $2.40. So 2,300%, 2,400% in no time. And it was very clear on what it was going to do, and it's very safe, because you can, if it backs up on you, you're going to make sure that if it goes over those highs, you're out, you're done. Just bounce. And then same thing here. These are pretty safe plays all in all. And then once we got this rip, it was just don't even touch it. What else was I looking for on this? Because I'm looking at these higher time frames too. So massive confluence on this bottom line on the 8 hour. So I got 1, 2, almost 3, 4, comes down, it dips under just a little bit, and then boom, it reclaimed. So I'm going to go into what I think is going to happen at this point in time, because I think that we could be looking at something for this week that's more along the lines of this. I definitely think we fill this gap this week. I'd be willing, let's just say I'm putting my money on it. So I think the gap fill, or we could get up and look at some more divergence, which kind of looks like, would look something more like this, and kind of what we were looking for. So we're looking for this pivot to hold, which could certainly give us this divergence right here. Bitcoin's still headed up. And in my other video, I'll highlight Bitcoin. I'm a little bit concerned about what I'm seeing on the 2-week breakdown. So I think that we're seeing some cracks forming in the ice, but I am saying a minimum of this, what was it, 629.85 for this week, if not a little bit higher. Bear divergence, and then get that a little bit bigger pullback. We need a pullback, but buy the dippers are still in the house. They have been trained over and over and over again for years to just buy every dip, buy every dip, buy every dip. And it just happens. It's happened over and over and over and over again for months through here. So they're trained to do it. That's exactly what Wall Street, it's exactly what the market makers want them to do, is just get complacent, buy every dip, and as soon as they do, eventually that rug's going to get pulled, and there's going to be a lot of liquidity taken. So be cautious on that. I mean, and if it's something, we could see something even a little bit deeper happen a little bit quicker if we get this divergence to come in. So that's what we're looking at. That's how I use this. As soon as I saw that recovery right here, that we did hold, like, all right, we're Gucci on this. The 2 hour was moving up out of both of these. So we had breaks on both 25 and the 11 right here. The 15 gave us confirmation as well. So it's like, you don't want to look for a counter trend when you've got this boom V cut right here. So I hope that helps on what I'm looking for on these 0 DTE plays, these counter trend trades, as far as structure goes, on what looks like shit structure and what looks like good structure. Hopefully this kind of gives you an example of what we're really looking for. I mean, this is textbook right here, because it's only in the 5 minute, right? But it's still under 20, under 30, and then over 70, and then we get the breakdown, and there's 2,400% in minutes, literally. So that's what we're looking for here, guys. There's hundreds of percent, if not thousands, to be made. You just have to know what to look for. So and that's on a daily basis. So hit me with any questions. I hope this helps, and that's exactly what we're looking for, friends.